Welcome to the Real Female Entrepreneurs. Today's guest is the queen of turning chaos into checklists and clicks into clients. She's built an entire growth ecosystem, helping service based businesses move from busy to booked without burning out. Oh, please bring it on. We need that. And from high converting campaigns to smarter loyalty and scroll stopping content. She blends creativity with conversations like a pro. Oh, and by the way, you want to know more about franchising? She's your girl because she is strategic, innovative, and globally minded. Please help me welcome the amazing and wonderful Laura Ridley, the founder of the Checklist Group. Welcome, Laura.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so cute and you're hilarious. Okay. All righty. So, first off, something had to happen to get you to start the business that you started. What chaos was there? Come on, bring it on.
Yeah, I mean, I think like any entrepreneurs, I feel like with entrepreneurs, they can't be employed, right? I think we've all been there where you've been employed and something doesn't feel right, and you feel like where you are within your life at the moment is not enough. And I think as I went through working with multiple different small businesses, big corporations, I was always that person that could not be, focused on one task. I couldn't be pigeonholed. So I always try to do other things outside of the scope. And I think that goes against what most big corporations want, right? They want you to stay in your lane and follow the systems and the processes. So from there, I've realized that because of that, I probably wasn't suited to employment. And I realized that I need to put myself out there to create my own thing. So just like any entrepreneur, I quit my job without any backup. I figured out how much money I needed to survive within each on a week-to-week basis. Lucky I was only 23 years old. So I didn't have a whole lot of expenses compared to now. And I got a really casual job in a gym, did some sales calls on the side, pretty much just made how much I needed to make, which was back then was $600 a week, until I created something what I was passionate about. And once I figured out what I was going to be create, I just hustled. And within a month, I was making 12K a week. So yeah. So, I mean, I think that's how most entrepreneurs launch, right? You force yourself in the deep end and see if you can swim.
So, what exactly do you do for entrepreneurs, other business owners? Let's go ahead and get some clarity on that as well. Because, oh my God, franchising like there's no tomorrow. That is amazing.
Yeah. So we niche in working with franchisors and franchisees. So we specifically are around marketing and sales. So one of our parts of our business is we work with franchisors to help with franchise recruitment, where we create systems, processes, sales strategies, content to help capture the right avatar and the right franchisee for the business to help scale. And then from there, a lot of the time, the franchise companies recommend us to their franchisees to also help do pre-sales and launch strategies to ensure that their businesses are successful before they open their doors.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that, yeah. So what else do you do beyond that? Because you do some social media, you have a checklist. Explain that checklist. I bet you, oh my God, people would probably do backflips for that checklist.
Yeah, so it's mostly everything from setting up workflows, creating nurture sequences, generating leads through Meta and Google, and then helping the prospect or the team or whoever's we're running the campaigns for to help provide a pitch strategy or a sales call strategy to help them convert the people over the phone into paying customers or paying franchisee. So there's steps by steps. I mean, it takes 7 points of contact for someone to be ready to purchase. So our goal is to really hone in on those 7 points of contact to help warm a lead, to educate the lead, to inspire the lead, to motivate the lead, to get them to take action in whatever we're trying to market.
So you do everything that we hate to do, basically.
Maybe the sales calls, I would say. I mean, I think a lot of people shy away from sales calls. I think there's a lot of people out there who are really passionate about marketing, and especially in the world we live in, where everyone has an iPhone and you can go out and create your own content. Everyone's social media experts these days. I think where most people shy away from is trying to qualify proper people and create a high quality lead, and how to have the right sort of conversations to move the needle. And more often than not, because sales does take time, as I said, it takes 7 points of contact. A lot of people give up after one phone call because, one, they hate being rejected. Two, they don't have the time to be able to do it. And it's pretty boring calling people that don't ever pick up their phones. Let's be real. So although we don't do the sales calls specifically, mind you, I have ran a sales agency for over 6 years, and we've only just stopped that after once I had children. Now we coach franchisors and franchisees in how to really come up with a 6-step sales process, which they can follow the dotted line and keep consistent. So then they do generate the results that they're looking for from the campaigns.
Wow. And you help with those funnels too, correct? Because that's part of those touch points as well. Not just the sales call, but I mean, and that's more, I'm sure, when we deal with that, because I know sometimes they say because we're not just a personal sales call, but those touch points, sometimes it's more like 15 times. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I think we're the biggest gap at the moment for franchise brands or franchisees, or to be honest, any service based or small business owner, is putting in the time to create nurture funnels, content that, speaks to the people that they're looking for, creating client testimonials, social proof, really educating them on the reasons why they should take action and the benefits, how it's going to help them. I would say 9 times out of 10, a lot of companies don't do this because of the time or the knowledge of how to create that, but also the lack of content. And so with franchising specifically, it's actually 1 to 3% conversion rate. So if you generate 100 leads, only 1 to 3% of those leads, historically turn into a franchise. So my biggest concern, I guess, is if you don't have the right workflows to educate the 97% of leads that have come in who haven't taken action, who's to say that in 2 weeks, 1 month, 6 weeks, 12 months, whatever, they're not ready. They may be not ready now, but maybe in a couple of months ahead, they will be ready to book that call and take action.
Yep, definitely. Thank you for that analogy. Thank you for expanding on that and letting us be more aware of that and educating us. Oh my God, that was an education beyond what we usually get and expect. So
Yeah.
let's take a step back, if you don't
Sure.
mind, and let's look at your 18-year-old self. What would you tell her from everything you've learned? You're a wealth of knowledge. What would you tell her?
Yeah. I mean, I think back when I was 18, I think naturally I've always had good habits established from, going to school or going to university. But I think all those periods in your life before you're 18, when you're, trying to figure out what you're doing with your life and how to talk to people, and being rejected, and dealing with what failure looks like. I guess I would just say every setback that I may feel is the end of the world. It really isn't. It's just a way for me to move forward, to help me build thicker skin, an opportunity for me to be able to learn things that I'm going to not have to learn when I'm 30, almost 32 years old now. Um, it it's an opportunity. Every failure which looks like the end of the world really isn't. It's just a way for me to move forward in the journey to really get me where I am today, to be
Mhm.
honest. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
welcome failure. That's what I'm trying to say. Welcome failure. If you can fail as many times as possible, you are going to move the needle to be able to continue learning and growing and upskilling. But you can only do that if you keep failing. Pretty
Let's
much.
talk about moving that needle a little bit. I
Yeah.
love about keep failing because I mean, I'm the queen of it. You know, if you're an entrepreneur, you become the queen of it. So let's talk about moving that needle. What is something that's a game changer? Maybe a habit, a decision, something that you did that actually made your business grow?
Being consistent and not being a perfectionist. I
Ooh,
Yeah,
ooh.
yeah. So I I think a lot of people, when they start a business, they want everything to be perfect. And more often than not, they don't want to launch something, or they don't want to go out and about and put it in front of someone because it's not perfect. I'm definitely not a perfectionist, which I think has served me. I'm more of a speed is your advantage. So the faster you can move, um, the faster you can get to the finish line, I guess you could say, even though there's never a finish line, let's be real. So yeah, just being consistent in everything I do, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's routine in my children's life, whether it's doing sales calls, whether it's marketing. I will never think twice about launching something. For example, I just did a LinkedIn post. I think it took me 5 minutes. It was on my mind. I put it up and I launched it. That's what's going to get you results, not sitting back and tweaking everything and refusing to launch it until it's absolutely perfect.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, if I would have waited till the whole magazine, my first magazine was perfect, I mean, every single month, to be honest with you, every single month, I look at it and go, "Oh my god, I wish I woulda did this different after it's gone out. I wish I would have done this
Mm,
different."
mm.
And because it's, you look at it afterwards and you can critique everything until the cows come home, but guess what? It's
Yeah,
just what
for
it is, you
sure.
gotta do it.
And I think when you're, I think really anything below $1 million turnover per year, I think you are still in that kind of hustle mindset of just getting to that growth period where things aren't perfect. The people that you employ, the content that you put out, your workflows, everything. Obviously, what we do for our clients, by all means, is way better quality than what I do for myself. But when you're in that kind of below 1 mil, you kind of have to just go with it and keep going with speed until you get to the 1 mil, and from there onward it is adapting your systems and your processes, and the quality really starts to improve after that because you have resources to be able to invest in to make it better quality, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, no, 100%. So, what is so you already said perfectionism, but is there
Mm.
something else that you think that, entrepreneurs need to actually stop believing, before they get in the business or while they're in the business to make a change?
So I think when one thing, and I don't know if this is answering the question properly, but I think one thing that I've noticed is when you're small, people are kind of like, they praise the underdog, right? They praise, like, if you're small, you're like, yeah, keep going, like you're doing such a great job, and you'll get there. It's very positive mindset, and I don't know if it's the same in the US, but in Australia we have a thing called small poppy syndrome, right? Which is it's very much a part of the Australian culture, which is probably a little bit sad. Where once you start being successful, more often than not, that attitude changes, and it's more people probably despise of your growth, which is can be a little bit daunting. It can be a little bit confronting. You end up noticing more people are not celebrating your wins, and you really have to choose who you put yourself with, and really choosing those that are supportive. You put your more energy into them than those that aren't, because more often than not, it's a reflection of how they're going, really. And I think, as if I had given anyone advice, is this is very normal. It's the more successful you become, the more confronting and people are going to say things. And I think it's just being able to not take note of it and not jeopardize your growth because of it, because it can jeopardize your growth if you start hearing things and people start saying, oh, the reason why you're successful is XYZ. And by all means, I don't have this happen to me, but I know that it does happen. It can actually cause you to take a step back And I think that's really important, not to listen to others or listen to your own insecurities to stop you from continuing to grow. So, yeah,
Thank you for that, because that is so true. Because as you grow in business, you have to change who you actually hang out with because of those situations that you're talking about. And it happens
absolutely.
to all of us. Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Oh, this one's going to be fun for you. You
Okay,
ready?
let's do it.
All right. Life balance. How are you balancing business, family, and everything?
Yeah, lucky I'm organized. I say this to everyone. I think when you become a parent, you actually become the most efficient person in the world, right? Anyone that does not have children, and by all means, I don't know if you have children or not, but
I don't, but I did raise my husband's grandson who is at
you know
6 months
about it.
old on, and he's 27, so I
You know about
understand. Yeah.
I think time when you have children, there's no doubt about it, or when you're looking after children, there's no doubt about it that being time poor is a thing, right? But I think it's a choice. I think it's a choice if you're going to let that be your label, or are you going to just set boundaries? And I think before I had children, I used to work from like 7 a.m. in the morning all the way till 10 p.m. at night. And that's all I wanted to do. And it was happy days. And I'm like, yay, this is fun. Like I'm working on my business. When you become a parent, it's like you don't have that option because they need just as much time. So now I work from 8 a.m. till 4:30. And as soon as 4:30 hits, that's it. I switch off. So that's how I balance it. We live on the Gold Coast as well. So I'm originally from Sydney in Australia. And 3 years ago, we decided to move up to the Gold Coast, which is about an hour flight upwards. Gold Coast is it's kind of like a holiday destination. So we're right near the beach. It's very nice. But I have no family here. I have no family here. So my partner, he's English. His family's in England.
Oh,
My
wow.
family's in Sydney. So we have zero help. But yet, because I've not allowed that to define myself and cause it a problem, I made it work. My kids go to kindy. They love kindy, which is preschool. Not sure where you call it in the US, daycare. Um, and but every Friday I have off with them. Every Friday I have off with them. Saturday, Sunday I have off with them. And then I just grind it out Monday to Thursday from 8 till 4:30. And like I said, when they're back home with me, that closed book, it's time to focus on family time. So
Thank you for that. That is such, a relief. Now, so you're saying about time poor.
mm,
So I think that's when people go into empty nest syndrome because they freak out because they're not needed as much. And I think it's a time where they need to flip a switch and become an entrepreneur.
very true. Very true. If it was that simple. If it was that simple. But yeah,
Flip the switch.
flip
All
the
right.
switch.
What would you say to a woman who's standing on the edge and she's ready to just throw in the towel? Things are just gotten out of hand and she's over her business. What would you tell her?
So I believe that no business can fail unless you let it fail.
Mm.
Um, I'm a big believer that, especially because I've worked with so many small businesses over my 8 years of doing what I do. And every single person that has decided to throw in the towel, it's not to say that they didn't have potential or opportunity, it's to say that their mindset decided that they were done.
Mm.
And I think we all can agree that business is a roller coaster. You're going to have some good months, you're going to have slow months, you're going to have setbacks. But more often than not, as I mentioned before, everything that you're experiencing, every barrier that you're experiencing is just allowing you to move forward in a different journey. I know that sounds very holistic,
No.
um, but it's very much true. And I think I can be an advocate of that, especially in small business, is like you have the power to change your business within a week. It's a lot easier in small business to move your business from been rock bottom to on top of the world within a week, compared to if it was a large corporation making $5 million plus, where then systems and processes have to change and it might take years. So with small business, I think it's quite easy to flip the switch, but it's your mindset has to allow you to want to continue and take those risks to, to be consistent and move the outcome, really.
Yeah. Oh my word. Great. Great answer. Thank you for that. All right. Now we're going to jump into a little bit more fun. I want to pull back the curtain for you and your business. What do you expect to see in the next couple of months, in the year, or so on?
Yeah, so obviously being in the digital space, I think we can all agree that content creation is if not the biggest factor of business. I mean, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, Google, it's social media. No, I hats off to everyone that can maintain all of those platforms at the same standard. I tell you what, but it truly is the most important part of business success, and finding the time to dedicate into content is the most important thing. Even though I'm probably, in the space of everyone being so time poor, not having the dedicated time to be able to invest or, be present for content, it is the way of moving forward. People are looking for authentic selves. People want to hear about people's stories, and, similar to what we're having a conversation now, this is what people want to see. They want to pull back the curtains of the founder and understand who they are, why they created their business, why it will benefit them, how can they relate with them. People are obsessed with watching people. So hence why UGC content has, really become a thing, which is user-generated content has just become a big thing, because people rely on true testimonials to determine if they want to invest or be a part of that business's journey. So if anything, I think web content is, if not more important than your sales calls these days, because it is what sells things.
Yeah, because they're looking at us always. If they're going to make a decision, they're looking at us. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're ready to go into some more fun stuff. I want to hear about something that's unexpected that everybody would go, she did what?
Ooh. I mean, I think having a child when you're scaling your business is already a bit of a what.
And moving.
I did it all. Yeah, I know. I'm definitely one of those people that don't think too much. Like I said, speed is your advantage. I'm definitely much of a go-getter, and I do things without thought, and then I figure it out as I go, which I think has its pros and cons. Let's be real. I don't know. I mean, I think already, as I mentioned before, the whole reason why, I got into this position of running my own business and making it work is I put myself in a vulnerable position, which many people would not do. Quitting security of a job and not having a backup is pretty wild, right?
That is pretty wild. What about skydiving, snorkeling?
I've done snorkeling. Snorkeling's not bad.
You snorkeled. See?
I wouldn't say that's very reckless, though. I mean, skydiving, not too sure. I'm not a fan of planes. I will get on a plane, but I will complain the whole way up in the sky. I will be complaining the whole way up, but I will get on a plane if I have to. You have to when you live in Australia, when you live so far away from everyone. You don't have a choice.
And with children? Oh, my God, with children. Okay, that right there, that's enough.
Yeah.
On a plane with children. And a spouse.
That's
okay,
crazy.
That's enough.
What I did, I'll tell you what I did. When I moved up to the Gold Coast, and again, we made a decision within a month, I got on a plane with my toddler for 2 hours. So I flew up to the Gold Coast, stayed there for 2 hours, bought a house, and then flew back.
Okay, that's crazy.
Yeah, but it worked. Like, I'm the happiest I've ever been up here because of it, right? So it ended up being a positive in the end.
I love that. I'm going to do that one day. I'm just going to pick up, go buy a house, move there, and do whatever.
Why not? Do it.
Okay. All right, let's pump up some volume with some music. What is one of a song or songs that you love?
Yeah, so I anything, I think, I don't know, this probably sounds very lame, but anything that what reminds me of my children is probably my biggest motivator. So obviously what I do in business, the whole reason why I do what I do is to set my children up for success. I think the world is getting crazy expensive, especially in Australia with 40% tax. Wild. But I think, so anything that reminds me. So at the moment, the go-to is K-pop Demon Hunters. Is golden. It's blasting. And you know what? It's also the song that my 1-year-old, when he's screaming in the car because he hates the car, if I put that song on, there's no more screaming. So that is my go-to. So I'm going to take that. But really anything, in all honesty, like I love music. Anything that allows me to clear my mind. I find it really difficult to switch off. Mm-hmm. As an entrepreneur, I think everyone struggles to switch off. So anything that allows me to put my headphones in, blast music, make me run, make me exercise, that's kind of my safe haven of switching off from business, which only lasts 30 to 40 minutes when I'm back into action. So yeah, anything fast beat, anything which is on the hits, nothing specific.
I love it. All right. What about a book? Do you have a favorite book?
Yeah. So again, because I'm not very good at switching off, I'm not a big book reader. I'm not very good at personal development. Something that I think last year was my New Year's resolution. I also said I'm going to focus on personal development, and now we're into 2026 and I still haven't focused on personal development. So it's on the list, but I have read a book from back to front, and it actually was a really good one. It was Shoe Dog. It was the Nike founder and his stories. And the reason why I liked his is I think these days I think everyone's so glamorized about the success. They're all about, oh, this is how much I made, or this is how well I'm doing, and this is how I got here from here to here. And it's all very glamorized, and I don't want to say it's fake, but I think we can all admit that there's usually more struggles in entrepreneurship and business ownership than success, right? You're more likely to have setbacks than you are winning golden nuggets. Mm-hmm. And I think with the Shoe Dog, which was about the founder and how he started, he goes through all the failures and the struggles rather than pointing out all the positives. And I think it's all about the journey. So I think if I think about one, I would say most books tell you about how they, did so well in business and this is what they did. This one actually told them the failures for people to understand that failure is necessary in order to move, to the journey that you want to achieve.
Yeah. Remember, I love journey. Remember, my quote stays on my finger. So what is your quote?
Yeah. So I have a few different quotes, but the Winston Churchill, and I'm going to read it over here because I can't remember it off by heart, was success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. So success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. And I think we've already spoken about it quite a few times, but I feel like, as mentioned, it is so true. Like you are in control of your success. You are in control of how far you want to go with it. Whether you are content making 300K per year or 600K or 1 mil or 2 mil, in the end, you can keep pushing forward as long as you are wanting to. And the bigger you grow, the more failures and struggles you're going to have. There's no doubt about it. But the willingness to want to keep going is what's going to determine how far you get, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I like it.
I love that quote. That's amazing. So what about a superpower for 24 hours only? What would it be?
24 hours superhero. I would probably choose time control. A lot of people, when I was thinking about this question, I would like to fly, and I would like to, be invisible. And I feel like that's my like old self or my child self wanting to choose those powers. And there was no like reason for it. It just sounded cool, right? But I feel like time control, now that I have children, as my kids continue to grow, time is time is a thief. It's crazy. I just see, with my first child, I felt like pregnancy, and I felt like when, from 0 to 1 went so long because you're like trying to figure out how to run a business. And I was, he didn't go to daycare, and he was with me whilst on sales calls. And, I didn't do that with my second, but with my second, I feel like he was 0 like 2 months ago. Like he just got born 2 months ago. So yeah, I feel like one day I'm going to look back on this and be a little bit sad that my kids are all grown up. Yeah. So time control it is.
Time control. All right. Motivation, control, on demand. What would it be?
Yeah. So if you haven't realized, I'm quite a passionate person, quite a motivated, passionate person. But I think, so it's quite rare for me not to be motivated. I probably have like undiagnosed ADHD, I'm sure. But I think motivation's not really a problem that I struggle with, but I would say probably not burnout. I don't want to say burn. I don't necessarily believe in burnout, but I would say just lack of sleep, being tired, always running on, 100 miles an hour can be exhausting. So I guess, yeah, listening to music, exercising is a really big thing for me at the moment. I make sure, and I've always consistently done it, I make sure I do my 3 to 4 sessions per week. I've started running more as well, which I sort of love, but I do it because it's good for you. So yeah, any form of exercise, hanging out with the kids, listen to music, going shopping. Who doesn't like shopping? Yeah, anything like that, just to be able to switch off, to be honest. Yeah.
All right. What's the best way for our audience to stay connected with you?
Yeah, I mean, social media, right? Following, just if you were to like, yeah, social media, LinkedIn, getting on Instagram, sending us a DM, any of that. We're very much on top of Instagram and LinkedIn, more so probably than the other platforms. Or obviously we do offer a discovery session to learn more about your upcoming franchise, or your, if you're a franchisee wanting to launch your business, we do offer a discovery session just to have a chat and see if we're the right fit for you as well. And that can be done on the website.
And what about a mic drop moment? Is there anything you'd like to share with the female entrepreneurs out there?
I think don't let anyone tell you because you're a female that you can't do everything. So if you are running a business, or if you're employed, doesn't really matter, and you want to have children, don't think, just do. Like me, it's my mentality, because you will work it out. You will work it out with, regardless of where you are within your life. If you feel like, oh, right now is not the right time, it's never going to be the right time. In all honesty, I think you just need to go for it. It's kind of like having my second child. Like, we were in a growth phase, and I was kind of like, you know what, just do it and we'll figure it out. And this year we've grown by 40%, with a baby who doesn't let me sleep. So I feel like that, yeah, that's my, so-called mic drop moment is being a female does not, it should not be a barrier to be able to do the things that you want to do in life. You can do more than one thing. You can be a mum and run a business. You can be an employee and run a business. You can be an employee and have a child. You can honestly do multiple things. You don't have to do one thing.
Laura, thank you for being here. It was such a blessing having you.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.